Okay, after looking at your quizzes, for those of you guys that are checking this out, little notation issue here, because some of you guys are a little bit sloppy or not writing the details down. The limit of this guy, and you can work across, I'm going to work across because of space. This is the limit as h approaches 0 of 9 minus 6h plus h squared minus 9 over h. Make sure you include the limit because we're still taking the limit of everything. Limit as h approaches 0 of negative 6h plus h squared over h. Of course, h's cancel, so that's the limit as h goes to 0 of negative 6 plus h, and as h goes to 0, that goes away. So it's negative 6. So what is equal to negative 6? This right here. Okay, and that, it happens to be, well, let me leave it at that for right now. It's a particular function this is the derivative at negative 3 for x squared, so this would be f prime of negative 3 when f of x equals x squared. So think about that. Why is that? How do I know this? Think about the function f of x plus h, or the expression minus f of x over h, and see how what I wrote here matches this. Okay, at x equals negative 3. You didn't have to do that, you just had to calculate the limit. Alright, so 35, 43. What are the directions here? Find the derivatives algebraically. That's the limit as h approaches 0 at negative 1 of g of negative 1 plus h minus g of negative 1 over h, which is the limit. Carry the limit symbol down. That's g of negative 1 plus h is negative 1 plus h squared plus negative 1 plus h minus, and when I plug negative 1 into there, I get 1 minus 1, or 0, all over h. So that's the limit as h approaches 0 of 1 minus 2h plus h squared minus 1 minus h all over h. So let's see, the ones cancel. We get the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 3h plus h squared over h, and the h's cancel, one of those. So that's the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 3 plus h, and as h goes to 0, that's gone. Goes to 0, so I get negative 3. 45. Okay, let's see, this is the limit as h approaches 0 of g of 2 plus h minus g of 2 all over h. Okay, and that's equal to g is 1 over x, right? So that's equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of 1 over 2 plus h minus 1 over 2 over h. Can't plug 0 in because I'm dividing by 0. So let's simplify this. We got a fraction and a fraction. Let's multiply top and bottom by 1 over h. Get rid of that equal sign there. And see what I get. So then I get limit. So h approaches 0. I get 1 over h times 2 plus h minus 1 over 2h. Still can't plug 0 in, so let's just keep doing some algebra. Let's keep simplifying this. Let's get a common denominator here. Multiply this, so I get 2 over 2h times 2 plus h. Alright, multiply this by 2, top and bottom. Multiply this by 2 plus h. To get the same denominator, right? So then that becomes a limit as h approaches 0 of 2 minus h, distribute the negative, over 2h times 2 plus h. So 2 minus 2 is 0. This h cancels with that, so I'm left with the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 1 over 2 times 2 plus h. as h goes to 0, that goes to 0, so I'm left with negative 1 over 4. A lot of algebra, like we said, class. A little calculus, a lot of algebra. And we got 47. Find the equation of the tangent line at that point. So when x is let's see. So we got 47. F of x is 5x squared at x equals 10. Well, then what is y? 10 squared is 100 times 5 is 500. So that's my point, 10, 500. And the reason I give you that is because they want me to write the equation of the tangent line, which is I need a point and a slope. So now I need a slope. So f prime at 10 is f of 10 plus h minus f of 10 all over h. Oops, it's the limit as h goes to 0. So the limit as h goes to 0, so that'd be 5 times 10 plus h squared minus f of 10 is 500 all over h. So I'm going to do this all in one step here. So it'd be, well, alright, 100 plus 20h plus h squared minus 500 over h. Limit is h approaches 0. That's going to be 500 plus 100h plus 5h squared minus 500 all over h. Limit is h goes to 0, so those 500s cancel. The h's cancel, so you're left with 100 plus 5h. As h goes to 0, that goes away. So I'm just left with 100. Does that make sense? So then the equation of my tangent line is y minus 500 equals 100 times x minus 10. And you can leave it like that. You don't have to write it in mx plus b form. Ooh, there's a lot of work right there. And then 48. Holy smokes, who's asking you to do all these? F of x equals x cubed. When x is equal to, was it negative 2? Okay, I am, because I want you to really get what you're getting. Alright, so we want the y value is negative 2 cubed is negative 8. So there's my point, negative 2, negative 8, and I need the slope. So f prime of negative 2 is the limit as h approaches 0 of f of negative 2 plus h minus f of negative 2. There's got to be an easier way to do this derivative, and the good news is there absolutely is, and we'll learn that this week. So it's going to be negative 2 plus h cubed minus plus 8, right? Minus negative 8 over h. The limit as h goes to 0. Limit as h approaches 0. Okay, cubing this. Well, let's just kind of do this. Let's square it and then cube it. So that'd be 4 minus 4h plus h squared times negative 2 plus h plus 8 over h, which is the limit as h approaches 0. If I distribute, that's going to be negative 8 plus 8h minus 2h squared plus 4h. I'm just distributing these. Minus 4h squared plus h cubed plus 8 all over h. And those are nice because they cancel. And then I'm going to pull a h out of each one of these. That guy, that's gone, that's gone. One of those and one of those. So the limit as h approaches 0, I'm going to have an 8 here. That's 0 plus 4. That's 0, that's 0, which is going to be 12. Okay. Does that make sense? Alright, so then my equation of my line would be y plus 8 equals 12 times x plus 2. I'm using the point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, there we go.